Hey everybody, this is Reba. Many of you know that I was a basketball coach. For 6 years, I coached college women's basketball, and I loved it. Had so much fun back in the day. And man, one of my very favorite players was Michael Jordan. Now, I'm a North Carolina girl, so Michael Jordan was a North Carolina boy growing up in Wilmington, North Carolina. Played for the University of North Carolina Tar Heels, which is my favorite team, and went on to play for the Chicago Bulls. And what an cool, amazing player he was on the court. I think he was the greatest basketball player that's ever played the game. But there's this one moment that Michael Jordan had that I'll never forget. He's playing for the Chicago Bulls. He's playing. It's a tough game. It's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And there's a guy sitting on the sideline that has been heckling Michael Jordan since the game began. Every time Michael Jordan would get the ball, he would heckle Jordan. Every time Jordan came to that side of the court where this guy was sitting on, he would just go at Jordan as hard as he could. And when Jordan would go to the free throw line, he was all over Jordan. Okay, I mean, he was calling, hollering, and it was so obvious that it was picking up on the TV cameras, and the microphones were picking him up. Announcers were starting to talk about it just a little bit. And then this crazy moment happens. It's one of my favorites in all of sports. Jordan goes to the free throw line. The game is close. It's on the line, and Jordan's got the ball at the free throw line. And Jordan goes through his pre-shot routine. He turns and he looks directly at this guy. He never looks at the basket, not once. He's looking at this guy and he takes his first shot. He never turns around and it goes swish right in. And then Jordan he has got this grin. He just grins, right? The referee hands him back the ball for the second shot. Second shot goes exactly the same way. Jordan goes through his pre-shot routine and then he turns, very intentional, and stares this guy down and takes his second shot, and it hits nothing but the bottom of the net. Well, needless to say, it was just one of those crazy moments in sports where the announcers, they just go crazy. The fans, the Bulls fans are screaming because they know what Jordan's just done. All the people that are sitting around this guy are laughing at this guy. And this guy shut up. He had nothing to say for the rest of the game. Now, what's so incredible at that moment and what the announcers were saying is, how do you have enough courage to go up to the free throw line like that and never look at the basket and stare this heckler down, knowing that the shot's going in? How do you do that? Well, there's some facts about Jordan's practice routine that I think come into play at this moment. And if you know anything about Jordan, one of the things that has been kind of the lore about the way he practiced was that Jordan stayed after every practice, both in college and in professionals, and he shot free throws. Not just 10 or 15 or 20. He shot hundreds and hundreds of free throws. Some say he had to make so many before he could leave. Others say they had to shoot at least 500. All right. The bottom line is, after everyone else had left the gym, Jordan's shooting free throws. And that's how Jordan walks up to the free throw line. And that's how he can have the courage and the assurance that shot is going in, and he can look at the heckler and never look at the basket, because he has stood at that line thousands and thousands and thousands of times in his career, and he has shot so many free throws. And I want to tell you why this story is just so great today. And it's because one of the things we're going to talk about is defining moments. I'm going to take the next few weeks in January to talk to us about defining moments. Because I don't know about you, but I want my life to matter in 2021. Okay, so as we're sitting here, it's just the first few days. We're into January. It's the year 2021. And I don't know about you, but I want it to matter in 2021. Okay. And so already I've thought through goals and plans, and, got things kind of lined up for what I would like to see happen in 2021. But this is what I know to be true. And what I hope over the next few weeks to not just convince you of, but to prove to you is true. And that is simply that our want, our desire to have a great year, it doesn't happen just because we want it. It really doesn't. It happens because in the little things, not in the shining moments where the heckler is screaming and the ball goes in. Okay, that's a shining moment, right? But what we see in the shining moments of our lives are a result of what happened in the defining moments of our lives. And those defining moments are when nobody sees us, when the camera's off, when the gym is empty, and Jordan's standing there at the free throw line shooting baskets by himself. Okay, and legend has it that he did this even when he was labeled as the greatest player to play the game. So, he is the NBA MVP. He is the greatest player to ever play the game, and he's still in the gym after all the other guys have already left. And I think that teaches us so much in our own life because there's so much truth to this. How does Jordan walk up to a free throw line and put the shot in a moment like that? It's because he's walked up to that free throw line 1,000 times when nobody was looking and put the shot in. And man, I hope that you'll understand, and I hope you're going to get a grasp of this. If you want to have a great 2021, if you want your life to count in 2021, then I have to tell you that these defining moments of your life are going to determine the shining moments of 2021 for you. They really are. What you do when no one's looking, what you do when no one's around, what you do consistently, what you do religiously, what you do without fail, what you do in all of this determines these shining moments for you. And boy, for a lot of us, if we're going to start this year off well, we've got to get serious about these moments that define us. And so what I want to encourage you to do right now is to get very serious about these moments that define you. All right. And as we walk through, we're going to talk about what a few of those moments are. But I think a lot of us understand, we have a pretty good grasp on what these defining moments look like. All right. But here's what I want to give you. And this is my first point for today. Defining moments require more than determination. I think so many people right now, especially this time of year, man, they're determined. Do you know that this is the number one time to buy fitness equipment? It's the number one time to join a gym. Why? Because everybody comes off of December, they roll into January, and they're like, you know what? I'm gonna lose 40 pounds this year. I'm gonna join a gym. I'm gonna go on a diet. I'm gonna do whatever. And all of a sudden they go and they buy treadmills and they buy ellipticals and they buy weights and they do all this stuff. And by June, these things are collecting dust and they're used as hangers and storage places for clothes and for objects and for things that we've just started to pile up on them. And they're no longer used for what we intended them to be. In January, we were so determined. What happened? Okay, what happened? And that's because determination is not enough. It really is not. I'm going to tell you, though, what is enough. And maybe you're asking that right now. Well, if determination is not enough, I think instead of determining and, oh man, I'm just determined. No. I believe it matters. This is it. And this is what I think is so important for us. If you're going to have some great defining moments this year, you're going to have to believe those moments matter. You're not determined, but you are in steadfast belief that they matter. See, here's why I believe Jordan hangs out in the gym after everyone else is gone. Because he believes that every time he shoots a free throw, it's going to matter one day when the game is on the line. And man, how many times have you seen these highlight reels of these free throws that, man, they won the game or they lost the game at the free throw line? And free throws are one of the hardest things to shoot. Why? Well, not because they're the furthest from the basket or because you got to jump high. None of those things. The reason a free throw is so hard to shoot is because everybody's staring at you when you shoot it. You're it. For this one moment in time, the whole gym is looking at you. And everybody on TV is just staring at you. And it's all about you in that moment. And in that moment, there's a lot of pressure. Woo! And that's a lot of, oh my word, and that's what makes a free throw hard to shoot. Is because, boy, you got to know that the pressure's on in that moment. So how do I deal with that? Well, Jordan understood that really well, I think, and he knew, how do I deal with those moments when the pressure's on? Well, I just do it so much when nobody's looking that when I step up to that line in a pressure situation, I'm confident that it's going in. I'm confident. And that's you know what? That's what I want. And I think that's what a lot of us want. We want to step into 2021 confident that we are going to be able to do the things that we need to do this year. And so therefore, you're going to have to believe, not determine necessarily, but you're going to have to believe that the little things matter. You're going to have to believe that these defining moments of your life create the shining moments in your highlight reel for 2021. And so therefore, you're going to have to get serious about what you believe in and why what you believe in is important to you. And you're going to have to implement those things, because this is really what I believe. When the trials come and the testing comes and the difficulty comes in our year, and they will, right? You know it's coming, right? When those moments come, your breaking point will be defined by your belief point. You know, I've seen players get out on the court and games on the line, and there's not but a few seconds on the clock. And, you know, coach will tell a player, hey, go foul her because she's not a good free throw shooter. Go foul the freshman. They'll freak out at the line. And sure enough, you know, a girl comes to the line. I've seen girls with their knees knocking at the line. They're just about to hyperventilate. There's no way they're going to hit this shot. And then there's a difference between somebody who steps up there with a lot of confidence and says, you know what? I got this. Why? What's the difference in those players? All right. It's that level of belief. I know I can hit this. I know I can hit it. And the other girl's going, there's no way I'm going to hit this shot. You know, and that really sometimes is what it comes down to. And so right now, I just want you to think, you know, I want to ask yourself some questions. You want this year to be a great year? Do you believe the small things matter? Do you believe it matters the way you speak to people, the way you act? Do you believe it matters the practices and the habits that you have in your life right now? Do you believe those things matter? If you believe they matter, then here's what I'm telling you. They're going to define you. They're going to define your shining moments. And beyond that, when the hard times and the difficult times come, and they will, then your belief in those things is what's going to get you through those moments.